Welcome back into the reset. This episode, of course, we got Thursday night football going on tonight, and I'm telling you right now, there's a few things that I'm going to tell you, and also Brandon Mebane is going to join us to break down what is going on with this defense.
It's the reset with G. Scott.
Brandon Mebane, Super Bowl 48 champion.
Yes,
One
sir.
of the main contributors to the reset here with G. Scott. Bang, we in Seahawk country need your help. People hit me up, they say, G, the Patriots ran for 185 yards against the Seahawks. The Lions ran for 116 plus yards against the Seahawks. And the Giants just ran for 175 yards. What's going on? What are you seeing when you watch film?
Well, when I watch film, the things that I see that's concerning, I think they don't really understand the concept of the new defense. And when I say that, you don't really see the guys line up correctly when you have, say they motion a tight end to the weak side of the defense, right? You don't see guys like sliding over, like to where they can have like even numbers on the weak side of the defense, because that's where a lot of teams want to attack. Or in another instance where you see the Seahawks defense on goal line, right? When they came out, the Giants came out in unbalanced, right? And they didn't line up correctly on that one either. And from watching the film, it looked like they got in, but the referees didn't give them the touchdown.
Right.
But that's one play right there that you will see. I guarantee you will see the San Francisco 49ers line up in unbalance and see if they line up correctly. And if not, you can get punished in that something like that.
So what can they do to fix? Because here's the thing. I'm not the expert that you are. I'm not the expert that the Seahawks coaches are. But there's something that you've been doing this a long time. What do the Seahawks need to do right away to fix what we are seeing?
I think one thing they need to do is get together outside the coaches and watch film together, because they're not really comfortable in this defense yet. And one of the reasons why they're not comfortable in this defense is new. It's new to them, right? A lot of those guys was in the defense that we ran for years, in Seattle, right? This is a whole nother defense that they're running. And when I say, you have to watch film to get to know the opponent, well, you have to watch film with your guys to get to know each other. You have to watch film with your coach, your head coach, to understand the concept of how he's thinking about what play he's about to run. Because we got so good to where we knew what defense they was going to call, and so we knew how to approach it, how to attack it, and we also communicated every play. Like, one thing that you don't see these guys doing, you don't see these guys communicating before every play and during and after every play. That's some of the things that you have to do as a defense. You have to constantly communicate with each other on what you're seeing, what they're doing, what they're not doing.
Bang, I got some stuff that was said. This was in The Athletic. My good buddy and on this contributor on the show, producer Frank, sent this to me. And Leonard Williams said this in The Athletic. And I want you to listen to this, and I want you to tell me what you think. He says, this is after the Giants loss. Today, there was too many guys holding their head down. A little bit of bickering and stuff like that happening on the sideline. I feel like we need to remember to stay close, stay family, have each other's back, and remember that it's a 4-quarter game. When you hear that, what do you think?
Well, when I hear that, man, it was a lot of times, even when we went to both our Super Bowls, it was a lot of times where we was up early in the game, and a majority of the times we was down in games. And we held it together. We stayed close. We kept fighting, and we looked up and we won the game. You don't have to necessarily win every game by 2 or 3 touchdowns. You can win by 13, 12.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about the NFL is, man, those guys get paid on the other team. You're getting paid, so they're gonna give you your best. And you're gonna give them their best. So it just all come down to, like, who gonna fold and who gonna stand tall.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
yeah.
So they got a test, of course, Thursday night football tonight is going to be against the 49ers. The 49ers are coming in town. You have played the 49ers a lot in your lifetime.
Right. Right.
What do you think the Niners game plan going to be coming in here?
They're going to come in and try to establish the run game. And they're going to try to establish the run game. We all know they like to do the shifts. They like to do the motions. But their main thing is they're going to try to establish the run game early and often. And then they're going to work the play action pass off the run game. Same thing they always been doing.
So
Same
you think
exact
so?
stuff.
Do you think that the Niners are paying attention? Obviously they are, but the Seahawks giving up 185 yards to the Patriots, the Seahawks giving up 175 yards against the Giants. Are the Niners like, oh, we gotta press on that?
Definitely, because the game, the offensive playbook, right? You look at it, you like, wow, like offenses don't really change up. Like what they put in spring OTAs, that's their offense, right? When you play against a team that's coming to you or you going to them, and say you made a mistake the past 2 weeks in a row or 1 week, the previous week, they're going to watch that play and they're going to run that same play and they're going to see if you correct that play. And when I said earlier about misaligned, the 49ers are seeing that the Seahawks are misaligned a lot of times in the defense. And that comes with communication and just understanding the defense and watching film.
So you're saying Thursday night, tonight, we're going to see a lot of unbalance from the Niners, huh?
Well, maybe not like a lot, but I would say it's going to come sometime during the game to where they're going to try to exploit that to try to see if they
fix that problem
correctly. Fix the problem, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bang, you always get us correct, man. Look, we just trying to figure it out, man. I'm sure the Seahawks are too. They're 3-2, trying to battle. It's going to be a big game tonight. I'm sure you will be watching. And, man, a lot of people text me. They say, hey, we need Mebane to tell us what's going on. So, hey, real quick before you go, tell the people that not only can you not get this education here, but they can also get personal services with you. How can they get in contact with you?
So I have a business called Elevate Your Football IQ. You can go check me out on Instagram. You can check me out on Instagram, Mebane92 on my Instagram. And I do Zoom sessions with high school, college, NFL defensive linemen. All we doing is teaching them how to watch film, what to look for, how to anticipate things, just movements and everything. I teach all that stuff.
All right, Bang. Hey, man, enjoy the rest of your day, bro, and we'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right, bro.
All right. Holla at you.
Always appreciate Bang coming on for joining us, man. It really means the world. Let me get right to it. I got my people with me. I got producer Frank, I got Bones, and I got, of course, my main man, Paul. Here's how it's going down right now. The season starts now. That's right. The season, the honeymoon period for Mike McDonald and this coaching staff and the Seattle Seahawks, the honeymoon is over. The season starts right now, tonight at Lumen Field. And then after that game, you go on the road to the Atlanta Falcons. And then after that game, you come back home against the Buffalo Bills. And after that game, you are at home against, I think you're home against the Rams. I think you're on the road to the Niners.
Rams.
Huh?
Rams.
Oh, Rams at home then.
And so then it's our bye.
Yeah, Rams at home. And then, so where I'm going at is this, fellas. The honeymoon period's over. We are about to find out who this team really is. Because are they a passing team? They're definitely not a run team because right now they're ranked number 1 in the NFL in pass attempts and passing the ball. They are not running the ball as much as they should be. But right now, Frank, we're going to have to find out who this team is.
Yeah, doesn't it? How long ago does it feel that Mike McDonald is 3-0, and then we were like putting up jokes that like he's the greatest winning percentage in franchise history ever? That feels so long ago now, with just 2 quick losses. And something we've talked about before. This is the 3rd game in 11 days, so we're all kind of nervous about that. And I'm really upset that the Niners blew the game against the Cardinals. I really wish the Niners were coming off a win and we were really hungry off a loss. Now it's both teams really hungry off a loss. I mean, we put up a poll for our podcast about where people are. It's a coin flip right now. People are nervous about this game.
So, Bones, the Seahawks were just 3-0 on September 30th before they played Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Now they're 3-2. Coming into the game tonight for Thursday Night Football against the Niners, on a scale of 1 to 10, where is your confidence right now?
My confidence, I would say, I put it at a 6.
Whoa.
A 6. That's not a high confidence level. That's just above the middle G. That's not 9. That's not 10.
But what happened? What they lost 2 games. What happened to your confidence?
Well, my confidence was at a 9 or a 10. That's coming off a 3-0, just like you said, living the honeymoon phase, just like a new girlfriend. You really love her at the beginning, and then you start learning some of their flaws. We're starting to learn some of the Seahawks' flaws. We can't stop the run right now. The run game, last year, that was our biggest thing that we needed to fix. We needed to fix the run game because that takes points off the board for the other team. Some of those close games we could get. We're not getting that right now. We're letting teams run all over us. You just saw what Jared Goff did to us with a perfect 18 for 18 passing performance. Our defense was shot that game. We did lose Uchenna Nwosu again, most likely for a long time now, so that's going to be an even bigger hit to our run game on the outside edge. If you can't stop the run, you can't hope to consistently win.
Frank, did your confidence go down too?
Oh yeah.
Hold on. Wait.
You expect us to lose 2 games and our confidence goes up?
I mean, the fact that your confidence level on this team was at a 9 or a 10, and then just that September 30th, it was at a 9 or a 10, and then they lose 2 games, and then you're already, boom, you're down on them. So are you saying that what we have seen the last 2 games, you guys believe that this is going to be them? Or you believe, that was kind of a fluke, they're going to get back on track tonight, Thursday Night Football?
I believe it's a combination in the sense that they're probably closer to the team we've seen the last 2 weeks than the first 3, mainly based on schedule and whatnot. I thought they looked good against the Lions, though, so I'm not saying this is a bad team, and I really do believe in that rest advantage versus disadvantage. The thing that makes me really nervous about this game, when we talk about the run defense and the flaws they've had, all the resources that have been pulled in to work on this, bringing in Leonard Williams, signing Draymond Jones, drafting Byron Murphy, and it still feels like the same run defense we're struggling with 2021, 2022, what we were struggling with last year. I also, shout out to Geno Smith. I don't know if you knew this, he leads the league in passing yards. That's great. I kind of hate that because it means that our offense is getting pigeonholed into one style of play, because I think he leads the league in pass attempts. So he's throwing the ball the most, and I like our running backs. And so we've seen the offensive coordinator, Grubb, we've seen the head coach, they've addressed it over and over again. You know, talk's cheap. We need to see it. But that part really gets me nervous, that we are just relying on Geno slinging it all game.
And to add context, I think everybody listening and watching right now would say that, yeah, we like our running backs. Yes, we like Kenneth Walker III. We like Charbonnet. We like that tandem. How in the world does Kenneth Walker III get 5 carries at home? How does that happen? How does your running back room get 7 carries? Charbonnet gets only 2. Like, that cannot happen. That's not a whoopsie. That needs to tell me that this offense, and I don't know, we're going to see, especially tonight. But it seems like this offense plans on throwing the ball a lot.
And you can throw on the Niners. Hufanga's not going to be playing, so that is an advantage. But it's not a way I want to see win, because I went into the season thinking, oh, we can win in a grit and grind defensive game. We can win ground and pound. We can win in an aerial attack. And now I feel like our options are limiting each week.
Does it concern you, G, at all that our running backs are getting as many targets in the air than they are getting carries on the ground?
Yes. And I'll tell you why it concerns me. As a fan, let's be real. We all love the pass game. Football is a lot.
That's where the money is.
It's a lot of fun. Fantasy football. You know what I mean? You getting your catches and touchdowns and yards. So on that perspective, yes. But I want to see my favorite team win football games.
Fact.
And I am of the mindset, and of course, as you all know, we have Brandon Mebane on here every week, and I learned a lot of football from him. I think football's simple. Run the ball, stop the run, right? And when you can run the ball, you can do whatever you want. If there's one thing that I got to see, and we all got to see with Detroit, the way they started off that game, they started off running that ball. And they just got busy. That play action got together, and of course that led to Jared Goff being 18 for 18 perfect.
Oh my God.
And by the way, I want to go back to the Detroit Lions game, because I think a lot of us, including myself, walked away with only paying attention to what we saw on offense out of the Seahawks. And then now that we saw what happened against the Giants, we're now starting to pay attention what really happened on defense against the Lions. And what happened on defense is this. Let me say that again. Jared Goff was 18 for 18. That means that he was just chilling. That means that life was good, Frank. So
Yeah.
So he wasn't uncomfortable at all.
And he's been uncomfortable earlier this season.
This is what I'm saying. And when I say the honeymoon's over, the honeymoon is over. That is a possibility that 18 for 18 showing against the Seahawks defense might show up again. And if it shows up again, there's problems, because now the month of October is when you really find out the identity of your team. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, look at Baltimore, right? They know exactly who they are.
You know exactly who they are. Right now, we are finding out. The Minnesota Vikings are undefeated right now.
Yep.
And people are like, oh my goodness.
No one saw that coming out.
What's going on with Sam Darnold? Well, Sam Darnold is just being a veteran, but the one thing the Vikings got, the number one in the league, their defense.
Yep.
Yeah, we're pretty high up in pressures, and they are dwarfing our numbers.
You see what I'm saying? So that's what's going to happen. And so this Thursday night game, and by the way, look, I said to Mebane, I said this to him off the record. I was like, man, but Mebane, it's been 3 games and 11 games, right? He's like, every team has to at least deal with that at least one time,
Sure.
right? Like all NFL teams have to, at some point, get to the grunt part of their schedule.
They have their fall off, then they have their struggle, and can you bounce back from that struggle? What are teams figuring out about your defense that you're not able to fix as quick as they're finding it out?
Right. So how do they bounce back, Frank? Let's talk about that.
They need to bounce back in a way of I use the word pigeonhole. I'm going to use it one more time. They stopped running the ball against the Giants, but then the receiver routes were taking too long, and Geno didn't have enough time behind the offensive line to complete a pass to his receivers. So it became a lot of working the flats and dumping off to the running backs. That can't happen again. We need to. Geno's got legs. Can we put him in space? Can we do some rollouts? I mean, I guess like the play action is just something they really don't want to touch because of the offensive line. I would just like to see JSN involved a little earlier, simpler routes. Doesn't have to be so complex. Like DK's always doing these one-on-one fights on the sideline. Can we just get him on a cross? Let's just get these guys in space a little bit. And of course, just the same thing we want. Ken Walker's a bowling ball. Let's just get him the ball, let him absorb some hits, let him put the fear of God in the defender's eyes to the point by the third quarter they're like, oh man, I got to take on Ken Walker again. That's what Derrick Henry does.
Right.
Derrick Henry's a tank, though.
Yeah, I know. Derrick Henry's another thing. He's over 30 and leading the league in yards.
Charbonnet's the younger version of him. He just hasn't gotten there yet.
Well, producer Paul, his Denver Broncos are 3-2, so I didn't even want to come to you. Paul, what's going on over there, man?
Hey, still here, still checking in. I'm glad that you didn't forget about me, G. But, Broncos winning some ugly football, but that game against the Raiders was a good sign. But I want to talk a little Hawks here, and I think the biggest thing that they need to do, in addition to what we talked about, and you guys briefly touched on it, they need to come out of the gate early. They need to be the team that sets the tone. I don't feel like the Seahawks have yet to set the tone in a game. Maybe against the Broncos there early on there in that week 1. I'm trying to remember when the Seahawks have really been the team that set the tone, and I think that'll be the difference maker here. You have a division rival that was predicted to not only win the division but maybe go back to the Super Bowl. You got them on the ropes. This is your chance to deliver a knockout blow to them versus them doing it to you in a crucial part of your season. I don't think the Seahawks are the season's over if they lose this game, but it's going to get a lot more difficult. This is an opportunity that you can't waste if you're the Seahawks, and I think this might be outside of the Lions obviously were a really big test, but a test of an overall team, of a coach, of putting a game plan together. This might be the biggest test of the Seahawks season.
I mean, the chance to put the Niners at 2-4 is an incredible chance.
I mean, it's just like beating the Houston Astros. Anytime you can take down the Niners, Seattle is happy. I got a question for you, G, because we saw it earlier or in this last game with Nehemiah Pritchett coming in for Reek Woolen. He's still in his rookie phase. He hasn't gotten too many snaps outside of that past game. How do we get him to the level we need to get him at outside of just having him take snaps and seeing it through the game? What can we do to prepare him to come in the game and play shutdown defense?
You take care of the Mariners and the Seahawk game on the board, right?
Correct.
And you've been doing that for a few years, right?
Correct.
If there was a guy that was to show up tomorrow and be able to come in and try to do your job right away, how long will it take him to be able to learn how to get to your level?
Flawlessly, I would say at least 6 broadcasts.
About 6 broadcasts?
6 if you're doing everything, not if you're just doing step by step.
That's fair. So with that being said, that's just with that being said, about 6 games.
Okay.
Right? You're talking about reps. You're talking about what Reek Woolen has been. And you all saw the game.
Yep.
Frank, what happened when Reek Woolen went out?
I mean, Darius Slayton turned into Malik Neighbors and Odell Beckham Jr.
You guys saw the game?
Unfortunately.
When Reek went out, and then by the way, it's not looking good for Reek to come back and play. All this week.
Is he coming back?
All this week, not this week. I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like
Hold
he
on,
is.
let me just say this because I don't want anybody to think that I got some secret stuff. I don't. I'm just going off of the practice reports and seeing that. Knowing that this week they played on Sunday, the game is tonight, so the practice schedule is really all walkthroughs. They're not strapping on helmets. They're not going out there hitting. They're kind of taking it easy. So when I look at the practice report and I see Reek is not on it for Monday and not on it for Tuesday, right? I'm starting to think it's not looking good for Reek to come back. And with that being said, Boye Mafe, hopefully we can get him back this week. You got Chenna, who's going to be on the injury report. So I don't want to use excuses. It is about next man up. No question about it. But this is a game. What I'm nervous about this game, Frank, Bones, Paul, here's what makes me nervous is because it doesn't get easier from here. Like I'm not saying none of this stuff is easy. It's hard to get a win in the National Football League, but you're at home. You have a chance to take the Niners down to 2-4. You're at home. Let me say that again. On a Thursday night, prime time. This is your opportunity. And then after this, you have to go on the road to an Atlanta Falcons team that I don't know what's going on with them, but they kind of gelling. Weird, awkward that's happening.
They're competitive.
Yeah, and then you come home against the Buffalo Bills. Like, when I say the honeymoon's over, oh, man, the honeymoon's over, and you got real bills to pay.
Yeah, it's really true.
And we ain't got the money right now.
Yeah, and just the one thing I want to add is, look, so I was online and Pete Carroll was trending and people are talking about like
what they saying?
Just like, hey, maybe we
teaching
jumped the
classes?
gun and we missed
No,
Pete Carroll.
we're not
so,
doing that.
So let me get there because there's been the conversation and people are already doing things like, oh, what's your trust in Mike McDonald? Look, he's a first-year head coach and his OC is a guy that came out of the college system, okay? So it's going to get ugly sometimes, and we're going to lose games to the Giants because he's a rookie head coach. Last Sunday, Mike Tomlin burned 2 timeouts on defense in the fourth quarter when he could have won the game. Sean McDermott and Josh Allen threw 3 straight passes inside their own 5, giving Houston the ball for the game-winning field goal. These are veteran,
Yeah.
playoff-winning coaches making dumb, stupid mistakes.
That
Guess
was
what?
weird.
You want to throw something in there,
No,
Paul?
no, I was just saying that was weird. It was really weird.
was insane.
It was weird. The coaching decisions this weekend. It was mind-boggling. From there were so many games that were decided by weird coaching.
And guess what? Mike McDonald, he's going to do the same thing. He's going to have some really weird mistakes, and we're going to go like, are you serious? It's year one. I know we're so excited about this team being good early. We're so excited about the Niners looking down and being bad. This division looks wide open. But there's going to be mistakes like this that are going to happen. And so that part, I look at that for the Giants game, and and the thing too is like I hate Thursday football.
I hate it.
I hate Thursday football. It's such a fluke.
I'm gonna say this, and I hope what I'm about to say, I hope it actually gets to some of the players. I really do. Because you just made a point about the coaching, and you just made a point about some of the dumb mistakes that Mike Tomlin made in the game and McDermott
Amazing
made in the
coaches.
game. No doubt about it. So far, this ain't been on coaching. I haven't seen against Detroit Lions. That wasn't scheme or misuse of a timeout. Against the Giants, that wasn't that. You want me to tell you what it was? Let me tell you what it really came down to. I'm keeping a buck with you. It came down to toughness. The Detroit Lions, dogs. The New York Giants, 175 yards rushing, dogs. Their D-line against the Seahawks O-line, dogs. So let me tell you what's going on. This ain't got nothing to do with no this or that. No, it comes down to who is the dog out there. This is the game of football. Let me say that again. It's the game of football. It's not rocket science, baby. If there's one thing that we Seahawks fans that we know about, we've seen this before. We used to see teams go out there and just maul teams. So we know what that looks like. So when it happens to the Seahawks, we know what that looks like too. So tonight, we gonna see it, right? It's come down to who gonna be tough out there? Who gonna be the ones to be like, okay, man, first quarter, I'm gonna make business decisions, man. I'm gonna go ahead and just end this early. I hope that's the Niners wanting to make business decisions. I hope the Seahawks out tough them. So that's what we're talking about, Frank, Bones, Paul. We're talking about who is gonna be the toughest.
No team with Ayuk on the roster is tougher than us.
G's the type of guy that you need in the locker room at halftime right now. I feel like Seahawks are, that was a little,
They might need a little pump up.
I spent a lot of time down at halftime, by the way, in my football career. I always like to make the joke. I played 3 years of varsity football. That's 30 football games, and we won 5 of them in my time there. So I needed a lot of pep talks. If we had G in the locker room, I think we would have had a different result. But G, that's the right type of message. And there is that element of football where you do got to be a dog. You got to just kind of out tough. It's so cliche, but it is. You have to go out and be the tougher team. You have to defend Lumen Field on Thursday night and make a statement. This is a chance to make the statement for the Seahawks. And Brady, you're always talking about the national coverage of the Seahawks. Yeah. This is the moment right here. Sock the 49ers in the mouth. You can give them whatever injury excuse you want, but that's every team deals with that. Go out there and do your job.
I mean, I know I just went off on a tangent, and I know that you might mess up my words, but my words are very simple. I'm not saying that the Seahawks aren't tough. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that I believe that they lost on Monday Night Football to the Lions. They lost to the Giants because that team was tougher. Period. What's my evidence? Well, Jared Goff went 18 for 18.
Pain.
The Giants rushed for 175 yards rushing.
Daniel Jones had his best passer rating game, took hits.
Depression.
So tonight in Lumen Field, if anybody want to mess up my words, you're like, oh, G said this. Well, this is what I'm saying. At Lumen Field, Seahawks need to come out and be the tougher team because you're at home. Because this is the potential that so many of us see out of this team. I still have the confidence of a 9-10. I still think the Seahawks will go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now, that's where I'm at today.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I'm not going to Lumen Field. Prove me right.
I got you with a question then, because I know we're all struggling with this. The time that you find your team identity, whether that's your offensive identity or your defensive identity. We all want to be, as you say, dogs. I can't say it as hard as you can, unfortunately. But how do you coach that into this defense that's been struggling? That you need to be the dogs, trendsetters, come out, push it on them all night until the other team can't take it anymore. How do you get that in there outside of just telling them?
Y'all, you're not gonna like my answer.
I love your answers.
Because my answer is very simple. You can't coach that.
You just gotta have it.
Gotta have it.
Is it something a player-to-player development, player-to-player coming in, player-coach, or is it players have to make that mental decision on their own?
Yeah, I've seen a lot, guys. I've seen a lot. I've seen guys that were really good. I've seen guys that were just okay. And if there's one, my opinion, my subjective opinion on this is I've never met a player and said, well, this coach made me a dog. They might have taught them technique. They might have taught them how to be a pro off the field. Okay. They might have taught them different schemes and all that kind of stuff. But how to be a dog? Come on, bro.
Right. Who's going to show us on this defense then? Give me one player that's going to flip the switch and turn into a dog or unleash their dog in this next game. Who's going to do it?
In order for this team to get to the next level, it has to come from the linebacker core.
I was going to say Dawson.
It's got to come from there. So there it is. All right. It's been good. Let's get to X's and O's. Isn't it funny how every single day we look at the mirror and we look at things, how they just tend to stay the same? But when we look back on life, we see so much difference. Look, whether you're trying to get that job, work out, or whatever you're trying to do to better yourself, you might put in so much hard work. But when you look at yourself in the mirror or you look at your situation, you don't immediately see the progress. Keep going. Keep going. Because as you continue to do that, at one point, you're going to look back and be like, oh, I do see it. So don't stop. The progress is happening. It's happening before your own eyes. Just because you don't see it right away doesn't mean it's not happening. Hey, continue rocking out there. Appreciate you rocking with me. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.